Hello again. Today I thought we would do something ready for Christmas. So welcome back to my channel, and I hope you've all been busy sewing ready for Christmas because it will soon be here. Now I found a table runner in a it's a very mute kind of blue, but I thought we could convert that into something nice for Christmas. So if you've got some Christmas fabrics and you don't need that many, then we'll get started with this and we'll make you a really attractive Christmas table runner. So this is the blue one. Now remember, I already had these fabrics. They're not my favorite blues. They're rather what I call a bit dull, a bit like Civil War sort of dull to me they are, but it's made a nice runner. Now I'm going to make it up in Christmas, so I will just take this away and then I'll put the Christmas fabrics out and I'll show you how I'm going to alternate it. This one has got 4 different fabrics for the on point pieces here, but I'm only going to use 3 different kinds because that's what I've got. And remember, the object of the exercise is to use what you've got. Try not to buy anything extra, use up what you've got, because I'm sure you've all got lots of Christmas fabric. So remember, with the blue runner I had 4 different fabric strips. This time I'm only using 3 patterns. It will be 4 strips long, just the same size, but I'm doubling up on the matching pattern for the center square. I'll just alternate them. To begin with, we're going to pin my first ones. By the way, yes, I will just mention this. If you've got a one-way fabric, like I happen to have here, make sure, if you can see this, all the bows on this piece all face out. So remember that if you're using a one-way fabric, with a one-way print on, I should say. So we're going to pin this one on here. And because you've cut your strips fairly accurately, that will be good. So that one will be stitched onto there. This will go onto there, and we'll pin him on there. So that goes onto your square first. Sew those 2 together, and then they will join on there. And next we will put this one on the top, on there, and we'll repeat this side again, putting that square to that, and that will make your first on point, because it will actually be this way around, and you're going to build going out that way and this way. So when I've put those 2 on, I'll then alternate that with a red. That will be the red one. There's the green square. Green square, no, sorry, that will go there. The next green square will come out here, so there will be a red one that goes down to there. So that will be red and white, which is the background colour on there, and red and white there. So you'll start getting your line of squares all the way along. I'll come back when I've just stitched the first 2 rows on so that you can see. I've stitched the middle panel, so you can see I've the ones with the square on the end, and then the plain ones, the one with the square on the end, and then the plain one. And I'll just keep building now. I'm going to put that one on there, put that one on there, and the same this side, on there, and that one on there. So you can see how our squares are going out. And then my next one, get hold of it, will be this one, and then another red one. So that will be that one and another red. So that's going to build and build and build, and you just keep on. And that will have a green square on the end. So, and this will have a green square on the end, like so. And you just keep on building out and out until you've used all your strips. So I've built on all of my strips right the way to each end. I have actually used some 505 spray and just attached that to my wadding. I've layered it. I do stitch my wadding together, all the odd pieces, because that saves a lot of money. And I've put on the back just the green, the same as the squares, because I happen to have it. So it's all ready now to quilt. I won't cut it back until it's nicely quilted. Before I quilt, I'd just like to say this. I'm going to actually quilt about a generous 1/4 inch around all the pieces. You can stitch straight across, but I don't like that look. I think it looks lovely quilted with just that 1/4 inch in on each piece. So on here, I'll go a 1/4 inch around there to quilt through all the layers. And then I will change my cotton when I've done the reds, because this obviously will stand out if it's red. I don't want red on the green, so I will do green on here and an off-white on the other pale pieces. And that's important. I will put the dark green on the bobbin, because I want the back to look nice and quilted like that does. Same colour. So I'm going to quilt now, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how it's going to be cut back. I would like to mention, I forgot about this, but when you've got a runner and it looks, when you look at this first off, it looks pretty red, because there's red on a background and white background with red, and then there's red berries and the center square is red. I have got the green. I'm going to actually bind in green as well, and that will take the whole balance out the whole effect a bit better. So remember that when you first look at your runner, if it looks very red, bind in another color that you can pick out from your runner. That will look much more effective. The quilting is all done, the generous 1/4 inch all around. You can see that all around there. Now the next step is because we're going to lose all of this and this, so the next step is to make sure that your runner is exactly, well, mine is 14¼ inches across. So to do that, I've marked halfway between each of these squares that go across, but you must leave 1/4 inch for your seam allowance, because the binding will go on there. You don't want to cut that point off either side here. So mark from the center here to the outside, which is just over 7, which will end up 14¼ So I've put a spot with an erasable pen just in the middle of all of the squares and measured to the outside. I've drawn a line where I'm going to cut it off, and I'll shape the tops, and then all I have to do then is put the binding on. It's 3 strips of 2½ inches of the dark green, end to end sewn and ironed in half, and I'll put that on as the binding, and then when I come back that will be completed. So the table runner is finished. I've bound it in the green as I said I would, and the back is nicely quilted. It comes out really nice as well. I did stitch my binding onto the front and hand stitched it to the back because I thought it had a nicer finish. You can see the difference between the blue, the very mute blue colours, and how cheerful and how Christmassy this one looks. You could have done it in a blue Christmas or gold and white. You can do it in any colourway and it will look equally as lovely. But I'm really happy with this, and so now I'm going to just show you something else that you might be able to put on your table with it. Because I've had a few requests for small Christmas items that you can put on your stalls or give away as gifts, I've made this. This is a little favour bag, the Christmas favour bag with the little bells on the edge. I'll just fold that in so that you can probably get a better look. Has a little 4 little leaf type pieces on the top, and it takes a chocolate or a little gift. Really nice to go on your table. You can put one around there for each of your guests, and that makes a nice little gift that they can even take home with them. And you can make them bigger, of course, if you wanted, but I think that's a nice size. The other thing is, I have been experimenting with a few of my existing patterns, making them look more like Christmas. Now this is the serviette holder, and I've just put some nice white furry fabric on that. It's not real fur, of course, and that would make a nice little addition if you wanted. If you were going to the park, you could make a kookaburra one. That's nice for a picnic at Christmas as well, and it makes a nice gift for a hostess. And this is the other one. That's just, again, you can change a colorway again. This is mainly green, so somebody who's got some extra green in their Christmas table or barbecue that they're having, that makes a nice gift as well. They're easy to make, and as I said, they are in my Etsy shop as patterns already. So I'm coming back in a few days' time with some other things that are Christmas orientated, so that you can put them on your stalls or you can give them as gifts, and I hope I'll give you lots of new ideas. So if you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and ring the notification bell, because then you'll get all the latest videos from me, and I will see you again later on. Thank you for being with me in a few days' time with something new.